Hey guys, today we're talking about composition of functions. Now, this is really similar to what we did yesterday. Remember what we did yesterday? We had like f of x equals 2x plus 1, and then I go, okay, what's f of 4? And then we would just take that 4 and we would plug it in, and we would get 2 times 4 is 8, 8 plus 1 is 9. Well, today we're doing the same thing, except this time, just like a little Russian nesting doll, we're going to put one function inside of another function, okay? So that's why it's called composition. We are composing one function inside of another. So let me show you exactly kind of what that looks like, okay? So let's go down here, and we have our two functions. My first function is g of x. My first function, let's try that again. My first function is g of x equals 2x. My second function is h of x equals x squared plus 4. So we have two functions. And we're going to try some composition. Now, composition is represented by this little symbol right here. Okay? That little symbol, I just call that my of symbol. Okay? It's g of h. That's how you can kind of read it. So like this is what it looks like. Like if I have g of f of x, we're really stacking one inside of the other. So it looks kind of like this. We have g of h of x. So we're really looking for, just like what we did yesterday, we're going to take whatever h of x is, and we're going to plug it in for g of x, okay? That's all it is. So we're just kind of nesting one inside of the other. So whenever we have g of h of x, well, we first need to figure out what h of x is. H of x is x squared plus 4. And so we're going to be thinking, what is g of x squared plus 4? Okay? So we're thinking, what is g of x squared plus 4? And so we're going to take that x squared plus 4, and I'm going to plug it into my equation of g of x. Okay? Just like what we did yesterday. But instead of just plugging in whole numbers or 2x's or whatever, we're plugging in kind of an entire equation. But that's okay, right? It's just telling us plug in h of x for g of x. Fine. H of x is x squared plus 4. Let's plug that in for g of x. So we're going to go 2 times x squared plus 4. And then we're just going to distribute my 2. 2 times x squared, 2 times 4. 2 times x squared is 2x squared. 2 times 4 is 8. So that is my answer. I can't simplify it. We don't want to worry about factoring or doing anything like that. So that's my answer. Okay, now let's do this one. G of h of 0. Now, we're kind of nesting inside h of 0 into this. Now, I need to figure out what is h of 0. I know what h of x is. H of x is x squared plus 4. But I don't know what h of 0 is. Well, we can figure it out, can't we? I can go h of 0 off to the side. H of 0 equals, well, here's my normal equation, right? H of 0 is going to equal, instead of having that x, 0 squared plus 4. Of course, 0 squared is 0. 0 plus 4 is 4. So we're going to take that 4, and that's what h of 0 equals. So we can replace that h of 0 with 4, and then it's just like what we did yesterday. It's just saying, hey, can you plug 4 into g for me? Can you plug 4 into g for me? So let's do it. So let's plug 4 into g. So we're going to go 2 times 4. Okay? So we're going to have 2 times 4, and 2 times 4 is, of course, 8. So my answer for this one is 8. Whenever you have a whole number inside of your parentheses, you're probably going to get a whole number as your answer. Whenever you have it stacked with just an x, you're probably just going to have an x as your answer, or x's as your answer. Okay, so look at letter C here. We have h of g of x. So this is the same thing that we did for a. It's just written already out there for us. h of g of x. So we're going to take whatever g of x is, and this time plug it in for h. So g of x here is 2x. So we're going to take that 2x and we're going to plug it in into h. So we're going to take my h, which is normally x squared plus 4, but instead of having an x in there, we're going to have a 2x. So 2x squared is 4x squared. I can't simplify. We don't want to factor or do anything like that, so that's my answer. 4x squared plus 4. So you notice you kind of get similar answers, but they are definitely different. Okay? So it matters which order we do it, if it's h of g of x or if it's g of h of x. It is different. Okay, so now for our last one here, letter D. So letter D, I have h of g of -5. So I'm going to rewrite this like this. I'm going to go h of g of -5. So now it's a problem just like what we had up here, where we're going to figure out what's g of -5, plug that in where h is, and then we get our answer. So let's figure out what g of -5 is. So if I have g of -5, that's going to equal 2 times -5. Okay, 2 times -5 is -10. So we're going to replace that g of -5 with a -10. All right, so now we just need to plug in -10 in for h. So we're going to go parentheses -10 squared plus 4. Well, -10 squared is 100. 100 plus 4 is 104. So, real simple. All we're doing, breaking it down piece by piece, rewriting it in kind of this like a nesting doll situation. Okay? All right. Let's go ahead. Let's move to our second page. And let's talk about our function operations. So, we can add, we can subtract, we can multiply, and we can divide. Okay? Now, all that is saying is we just rewrite it like this, and we find f of one thing and f of the other. So, for instance, letter A, it says f of x and g of x. Well, f of x plus g of x here, my f of x, I can replace that f of x with 1/2 x minus 4. And put our plus sign in the middle, I can have my g of x, which is going to be x squared minus 3. And all we have to do is add these two together. I don't have to plug something in for something else. We're just adding them together. So I'm going to say, okay, let's combine like terms. Well, 1/2 x, x squared, there's no like terms there. But -4 and -7, those are like terms. So we're going to have x squared plus 1/2 x, -4 and -3 make -7. So there's our answer. X squared plus 1/2 x minus 7. Okay, let's try letter B here. So letter B, we have g minus f of x. So what this is really saying is it's saying g of x minus f of x. So we're going to take my g of x, we're going to write that out, it's going to be x squared minus 3, and I'm going to subtract, this time I'm going to write parentheses because we're subtracting, so I have to distribute that negative, so we're going to subtract 1/2 x minus 4. Okay, so it's going to be x squared minus 3 minus 1/2 x minus 4, then we just combine like terms, once again. Oh, I'm so sorry, I forgot to distribute. It's negative and negative again. Look at that. Start making more mistakes. But anyways, yeah, we're going to combine like terms. -4 and -3 and +4 are going to combine to be 1. It's going to be x squared minus 1/2 x plus 1. All right, now for number 3, we have 3 separate functions. I have f of x, I have a g of x, and I have h of x. And we're going to use different colors to kind of keep them separate. But Let's take a look at letter A. We have f of g of negative 2. So my first step is we're going to figure out what g of negative 2 is. Okay? So that's step number 1. We're going to figure out what g of negative 2 is. So I'm going to go to the side. I'm going to go g of negative 2 equals 3 times negative 2, right? It's just 3 times x. So we're plugging negative 2 in for x. So it's going to be 3 times negative 2. So that's just going to be negative 6. So g of negative 2 is negative 6. All right. So then we're going to then have f of negative 6. Since g of negative 2 equals negative 6, we can just plug in negative 6 for instead of g of negative 2. So we can plug it in for f. So we're going to go f of negative 6 equals 2 minus, don't forget parentheses whenever we're working with a negative, okay? So it's going to be 2 minus a negative 6. Okay, so we're going to have 2 plus 6 now, because minusing a negative is adding. We're losing debt. Okay, then 2 plus 6 is 8. So there's our answer. F of g of negative 2 is 8. Just go from like the inside to the outside, okay? All right, let's take a look at letter C here. We're going to have f of h of x. So let's rewrite this. So we're going to have f of h of x, okay? See how that kind of breaks down, okay? F of h of x. So we're just telling us h of x is going to be inside f. So we already know what h of x is. It tells me h of x is x squared plus 1. So I can just go f of x squared plus 1. All right, then we're just going to take that x squared plus 1 and plug it in for f of x right here. So it's going to be 2 minus, normally I would just put an x, but now I'm going to put an x squared plus 1. All right, now let's distribute this negative. We're going to get 2 minus x squared minus 1. 2 minus x, and then we're just going to have a negative x squared in front. 2 and negative 1 are like terms. They can combine. They're just going to make 1. So we're just going to have a negative x plus 1 as our answer. Okay? So just break it down piece by piece, think it through. Let's take a look at letter B. So letter B, we have f times g of x. Okay, this is different than my f of h up here. Okay? The open circle and the multiplication are different. So whenever we see multiplication, it means this. It means f of x times g of x. So we're going to take f of x and g of x. We're going to write them out separate. Okay, we're going to have my f of x is 2 minus x. My g of x is 3x, and we're going to multiply these two together, right? And so we're just going to distribute and combine like terms. So I'm just going to go 3x times 2 is 6x. 3x times negative x is negative 3x squared. All right, that's our answer. Technically, we should rewrite it with the x squared first, but that's our answer. So I'm just going to rewrite it with the x squared first. I'm going to go negative 3x squared plus 6x. And there it is, our answer. Okay, our last one. We have g of f of 8. So let's rewrite this. We have g of, and on the inside we have f of 8. Okay, so step number 1. We need to figure out what f of 8 is, right? So I'm going to take f of 8, and we're going to figure out what that is. So f of 8 equals 2 minus 8. 2 minus 8 is negative 6. Okay, so That was easy enough. So now I'm just going to go g of, and instead of f8, we're going to have a -6. Okay, so then g of -6 is going to go 3 times -6. Remember, it's just like up here with our 3x. It's just, we're replacing that x with a -6, so it's just 3 times -6 is -18. All right, guys, keep this in mind. It's just like that nesting doll kind of situation, right? We're just plugging one thing into another. So figure out what's on the inside first, and then plug it into the next one, okay? As always, let me know if you have any questions. I'll be super happy to help. Thanks, guys.